Hi, my name is Terri Sproul, and I want to welcome you to my studio. It's another Tuesday night live art journal class. I want to thank you very much for showing up here live. If you are not here live, on every Tuesday night I do this at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find it over on Google+, or you can go to YouTube. Either or works. That's my blog right below me. I also put all the projects that I do on this live show on my blog. I try to get them on there by Wednesday, the next day, but you know, things happen. I do have Joe here helping me today, and he will be helping me catch all the answers. They do have a new Q&A section. That is more meant for you to be able to ask me a question, and I can see it and select it and answer it. So if you can do your best to try to put those questions in caps, I'll do my best to answer them. So yes, Google has a new layout. The pictures are much bigger on the left, which is really nice. And it's not really a chat. It's more meant to be a questions for me to answer if you have them. So hopefully that'll be a cool feature. I am going to change over, and is it all blurry, huh? I don't know. I can't really see on my end.
Terry, it looks fine now in the real window.
Okay, great.
Your picture is blurry until you go live, and then once it starts streaming, it's perfect here.
Perfect, great. Okay, I'm going to change cameras. Okay, we're going to get going. I told you guys, oh, let me turn that logo off. Sorry about that. And put the questions and answers up. Okay. This is, I told you to look for magazines last week, so I can teach you real quickly on how to do your own stencils. Magazines are great for that. And again, remember to look at the silhouette that you're cutting out to see if it's something that's appealing to be a stencil. This particular one I would not use because her arms are kind of going in like that, so there's going to be no real shape here about her, you know, as far as it goes. I probably wouldn't use this one. I'm going to show you the one that actually I picked out to use, and I love this one. Isn't this one great? So once I find a magazine photo that I want to use, I just rip it out. And you can use a couple different materials. If it's a large photo like this one, I would suggest getting a transparency, and you can get those at you know, Office Depot. If it's a smaller image, you can use packing tape and just put packing tape over it. Now again, this is a choice thing. This is, when I make this stencil, it's basically going to last me pretty much forever because I'm putting this plastic on top. You don't have to do that. You could cut out this image, use it once, and throw it away when you're done. Joe, do you see my... I do see... Dana just asked a question, and yes, I do see the comments in the questions, so it is working pretty well. So what I would do, and I'm not going to do this completely online tonight because you'll get the gist of the whole thing, is I put some glue over the image that I want to cut out, and because I'm not caring what this image looks like, you can use any type of glue you want. That's why I'm using simple glue stick here. But you could use vellum glue, spray-on glue, anything you want. I would lay my transparency over the top. I probably would take a credit card or something like that and, you know, make sure I got no bubbles in it. And if I'm going to use this stencil over and over and over, like I probably would because this one's kind of cool, I would turn it over also and put some glue on the back and stick another transparency on this side. And basically that's going to make that image be, that stencil I made myself, be good forever. Then I would go...
Laminate works really well too.
That's a great idea too. Laminate, packing tape would work, transparencies will work, lots of ideas. And then I'm going to go in and literally fussy cut right around this whole image. I'm not going to do that tonight because you guys know how to fussy cut. A couple quick hints though I can tell you about fussy cutting. When you do fussy cut, you don't want to cut out, you don't want to move your scissors so much. So I'm going to show you here. I'm going to move the paper more than I'm moving the scissors. So I keep moving the paper to fit around the image there. See how I move the paper there and not the scissors? My scissors stayed right where I want them. Coming
Now,
out.
Terry, another trick, Terry, is on the Zing. You could scan that image and then do what's called a blackout and cut it out right on a piece of acetate or even stencil material, and you're done.
I actually have made stencils on my Zing machine, and I love my Zing machine. If you guys don't know what a Zing machine is, it's actually a die cutting machine. It's probably one of the best ones out on the market. Well, I think it is the best one out on the market. And you can actually, we can give you a link to, Joe, you can throw up a link on where to buy that as far as, you know, your website. So here's a couple that I have used in the past, because you can see it's got black paint on it. Here's another really cool one that I cut out one day. So these are ones that I already have cut out for myself. So, all magazines. And actually I didn't think about grabbing that, but I actually did make a, because I needed a pregnant girl for a canvas that I needed to do, and I cut it out on my Zing machine. I actually went to website, looked for a side profile of a pregnant woman, and I put it into my Zing and cut it right out. Okay, did a tiny bit of prep prior to you guys getting here tonight. I took, this is Tim Holtz's tissue paper. It comes in a roll. You can get it at Michael's. I had a little piece of it, so I glued that on. And that's kind of going to be my first layer, because tonight we're going to do layers upon layers. And I wanted to talk to you about mixed media. What does that mean for starters? Mixed media is, what I say in a joking manner, means I get to play with everything. But honestly, what it really means is that you're using a multiple of different mediums on one canvas, scrapbook page, art journal, whatever you're doing. So we're doing lots of mediums. So my very first medium is actually the tissue paper. That's technically a medium. So the next thing I want to do is come in and use my gelatos. We used these last week, no, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, yeah, for this page. And I have a couple girls that are in the room tonight that just got a package of gelatos. So you might want to go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Terri Sproul. And 2 weeks ago, you'll see the peacock. I used gelatos in a lot of different ways. So go check that out. So I'm just going to start putting it on my background, and I'm using a direct technique where you literally just color it directly onto the background. And don't worry about the scribbling. I'm going to make that pretty. And I'm going to mainly use yellows tonight. These are 3 shades of their yellows, and I might bring that gold in too. We'll see here. So I'm just using 3 of their yellows because I want my background to start off kind of light. Now these are basically water-based, so I could do a couple things. I could spray this with water and brush it out, but that kind of dilutes it a little more than I want it to be diluted. So I'm going to do the finger technique, as I'm going to call it, and that's literally when you just take the pigment and you start rubbing it directly into your background. And that is how, and this is going to give you the most intense colors if you do it this way. Now I will give you a trick. Sometimes when you're doing this, the pigment in the gelatos just doesn't seem to want to move. If you have that happen, you can take a spray bottle and just do a real super light mist, and that'll help move the gelatos a little bit without diluting them down per se, where if I got it really wet and took a paintbrush to it, I would get more of a diluted color. And I wanted this to be a little more strong. So I am using it full strength. Okay. So there's my second layer on there. So let me wipe my hands here. And if this is too strong for you, you know, if this is like way too much for you, you just don't like it, you could go in and take a baby wipe to it and wipe it down a little bit. You know, there's lots of things you can do. Don't be scared of what you did. And baby wipes work great. I'm perfectly happy with this, but say you could even just dab it and bring a little bit of the paint, the pigment off, if that scares you. But to me, I'm perfectly happy. Okay, so I got some gelatos on there. Now I want to go in and I want to do some stenciling, and I want to use ink pads. Well, hold on here, let me grab an ink pad. What color do I want to use? I think I'll use this turquoise. And I love, when I use stencils, if I use acrylic paint or I use ink pads, I like makeup sponges. These things work great. And I just ink up the makeup sponge and go right into my stencil. And it does seem like it takes a little more. This is actually taking it off. How funny is that? This is actually taking it off. Interesting. I didn't do that when I worked that the other day. So I'm going to spray some workable fixative on it since it doesn't want to play with me. So I sprayed workable fixative on the whole thing, and that's going to seal my background for me. Dry that off real quick. Okay. What did you use to glue down the tissue paper with? I just got a question that says, what did I use to glue down the tissue paper with? I actually used gel medium. Where is my gel medium? There it is. I used gel medium matte to glue down my tissue paper. Okay, we're going to try this again. Back to my turquoise and see if it takes it this time. That was so weird. I didn't have, you know, it's funny, I just did this exact same technique on this page and that did not happen. Isn't that weird? Yep, there it goes. It's working this time. I don't know why. I'm assuming because maybe my gelatos weren't dry enough. I went into it too quickly. So I'm getting a little bit of color there. Perfect. I did that really slightly because oh, camera just moved. Hold on. Sorry about that. Aha! We're not having an earthquake, I swear. My camera just wants to move all of a sudden. Stay, baby! Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. Okay. Let's go on with some
Terri, it says you're answering Dana Martin's question about tissue paper, but it's still being answered. Could you just mark it closed because it blocks where I'm trying to answer the other questions?
There we go. Dana just asked another question. It says, I use soft gel. Maybe that was my problem using soft. What do I think? I don't see why that shouldn't have given you problems. The soft gel is a lot softer than gel medium. Gel medium has a lot more tooth to it, so maybe that was the reason. Okay. I guess I have to click done when I'm done answering the question. That's a good thing to know. So I'm going to throw a little bit of paint out here. And I'm going to use a makeup sponge again. When I use a makeup sponge and paint, I dab the paint on, but then I dab the paint off, and you can't see that. Well, you kind of can over there in the corner. So see how I dab it off? Because you don't want a lot of paint on your sponge. Because if you have a lot of paint on your sponge, it'll dab underneath the stencil, and it'll give you, it'll be blurry. It won't be clean. So that's a really good tip. Dab on, dab off. So dab on, dab off. Camera's moving again. Why are you giving me problems there, camera? Okay, you know it's really hot in my room. I think that's why everything's drying so quickly. I can't get anything to stay. I got a nice little ego boost today. I found out that my stamps over at Sin City Stamps are the #1 stamps being sold. The journaling, my journal things, my journal stamps. Okay, this is a really cool stamp. It's a background stamp from Sin City Stamps, and it's a crackle. And I'm going to use Stays On now. And some stamps, so this will be a new layer. And a lot of times when I stamp, I don't get the whole image. I specifically only try to get parts of it so that it doesn't give me that hard edge that some stamps do have, even though this one really doesn't. She's got it set up to be like a distressed edge. But I don't put them on a mount. As you see, I'll take my fingers like that, and I'll ink it up in the center there. See that? And then I just take my fingers and I'll press it down. Kind of see that? See how the edges are still up? And only the center is being stamped on there. It's a great way to not get that harsh edge that can happen with stamps. Okay. I want another layer. I'm going to spray this time. But I don't want this hard edge again. Okay, camera, why are you not playing this with me tonight? I think my clip broke. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I think my clip broke. I'll have to fix it after class. Okay. I don't want this harsh edge right here. So I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper. Lay that down. And that probably should be good. And I do want to use, I'm using Stuart Superior's sprays because they're a permanent spray. They won't react if I put anything wet over them. They'll dry completely. And this is it's called Diet Cola. So it's kind of a dark black. And this stencil right here is a cheapie that I got at Office Depot that's all letters. So it's just a good cheapie. I'm going to dry that real quick so I can play on top of it. You definitely want to make sure that this layer is dry, because if it wasn't dry and I started going over top of it, I could get some, you know, bleeding through, and I wouldn't want that, especially the black. Okay, now I want to put in another layer, and this layer is going to be book text. I actually have this really cool old dictionary How old is it? I don't know how old it is, but I like the color of the pages. Dictionaries are always fun to use. So I'm just going to rip some pages off the back.
Terry, there's a question, what stencil are you using for the kind of old school stenciled letters? Is it just an old school stencil of letters?
It is. I probably got it at Office Depot or something like that. Let me see here. Let me see if there's a name on it. Yeah, actually on the top, it's funny. It's no company at all. I probably got it at like an Office Depot or something like that. See that? And it says on the top, they're 1 1/4 inch alphabet, upper and lower case.
And
So,
again, folks, like we said last time, you don't have to use the exact same stencil. This is just traditional letters. You'll find them in Walmart in the school section.
and that's really sometimes the best places to buy that stuff because it's so much cheaper than it is if you bought it. Not that I'm dissing my local scrapbook stores because I'm not. I love my local scrapbook stores. But you know, if you go there for the more expensive stuff, and you know, if you can buy something a little cheaper somewhere else, go for it.
And Terry, there is a question from Dana. Why did you switch to StazOn ink and not continue with the ink you were using?
Because I started having problems with it not wanting to stick to the background. So my thoughts were, okay, I'm doing something wrong, so I know that StazOn will work.
And from Studio Z's, I think, said not this stencil of the letters, the one before it. This is the first stencil I think you used tonight, right?
Oh, no, I did use, hold on. I used, where is it? I used this one.
Oh,
And
that one. Okay, so the question is, where did that stencil come from? That exact stencil.
this exact stencil came from Crafter's Workshop. That is right, Crafter's Workshop.
And again, there's a lot of comments in the window about they don't like this format, but please keep in mind it's not intended to be a chat among attendees. It really is questions for Terry. I can't change what Google does, so I apologize for that, but the point is it's a chance to focus on messages to Terry, and it's not a chat to each other kind of thing, and that's why I think people are a little frustrated.
Now, tell me, you know, since this is a new setup, is there 2 chats? Is there still one over in the you know, on the event page?
I'm not seeing that, Terry. When you click on it in the event, it goes right to its own window for me, with the video quite large and the right-hand side scrolling questions.
Interesting. Now, I'm putting book text in the back here. One of the things you definitely want to do is make sure you go across the center there. So what I did is I took my my text and I folded it in half where I would put that fold is going to go on the crease of my book. And I know that some of you can't do that because you're using books with spirals in the center. But even if you're using a book with a spiral in the center, put a little bit on each side so that it unifies the 2 pages and doesn't look like it's just floating there. That's the last thing you want to do is have something looking like it's floating. It just doesn't look good on you know, from a design point of view. Okay. I'll put a little more up here. Hold on. Yeah, StazOn I know will work on top of acrylic paint, so that's why I went with my StazOn. It's my, you know, I know it's going to work, so I went there where I was having problems. Now, it could have been that ink pad was just too dry. It might have been something as simple as that. And since I am live, I wasn't going to mess with it. If I was not live, I might have spent a few more minutes trying to figure out why that ink pad wasn't working. Was it the fact that it was maybe a dry ink pad? Or what? Why was I having problems with it? See what I'm saying? To answer your question there too. Okay, I am going to go over top of my book text with some gel medium also, and what that's going to do is it's going to seal that book text. So if I put color or anything on top of the book text, it will not seep into it. So it's almost like gesso in this way. And gesso, as you know, is a will act as a sealer for your pages. So this gel medium is doing the same thing for my text. It's going to seal the background and still allow me to put color over it, and I won't lose the basic text that's there. Okay. Let that dry. I'm going to take the heat gun to it real quick to see if I can get it to speed up a little. It's pretty warm here today, so it should dry pretty quickly. We had lots of excitement the last week. I live in the mountains, as some of you guys might know, and what was it? Yesterday? Saturday, I think it was. We had a lightning strike hit one of the trees and caught it on fire, so that was really exciting. Really, really close to my house. So I'm taking the gelatos again, and I'm going directly over the book text just to give them some little color, so they're not so, I don't know. I just don't like the color of the book per se with this background. So the gelatos is going to help take that. But yet, see how because I sealed it, you can still read the words. So that's the reason. Link, please. I got a question that says, link, please. Link to what?
I sent it, Terry. It's the link to the Crafters Workshop.
Thank you. And I will try, and again, remember that I put all the links, if we do miss a link tonight, on my blog. Usually Wednesday. Tomorrow I have to get up really early and leave the mountain at crack of dawn. So I probably won't get it done until I get back home. And when I go to the city, unfortunately, it's pretty much an all-day event because I live so far from the city. Okay. Now I want to grab, this is my Faber-Castell Pitt pen. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to go right around the edge of my book text. And if you get it while it's still wet, let me see if I can get that close enough that you can see it. Okay, so I color in, and while it's still wet, I take my finger and smear it. And see how that gave me like shadows? Okay. So again, color, smear. Color, smear. So it loses the harshness to it, but yet gives you that shadowy look. See that? Where I'm going? And I'm going to do that around all the book text. Oh, I like that.
Terry, folks are a little frustrated because the question at the top still says currently answering. I use soft gel. Maybe that's my problem. Did you click done on that one yet?
I clicked done on that. Really? I clicked done on that. I don't know how to fix it.
Dana wants to know substitute for gelatos could be water soluble oil pastels, like what I used for my submission 2 weeks ago. Yes.
Oil pastels and gelatos, they're a little different because you could.
They are water soluble.
Yeah, they are definitely water. Yeah, so definitely, yeah. See, look at the
Dana
difference.
would like to know if you can use a charcoal pencil instead of Pitt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's actually quite a few of them out there. There's one called, I think I have it right here. Yes, this is Stabilo, S-T-A-B-I-L-O. I think I got it at dickblix.com. Let's see if that'll come in there for you. Hold on, give it a second.
And I think the cool thing here, Terry, is when we're talking about mixed media, it's really not a can I use this, can I use that. It's a try it. Try it on a scratch journal, try it on scratch paper. You might get a result that you didn't expect, but it might be a cool result. You'll want to do it over and over again. So, I think, like, at least when I teach my students, I say you don't need the exact same stencil, the exact same brand of paint, the exact same marker. Play, and who knows, you could come up with a whole new technique or look.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, stop by my blog tomorrow. No, Thursday. Sorry, Thursday. I just came up with this really cool technique that I had fun doing today for a blog post that I am required to do for Dreamweaver, and I think it turned out really cool. Actually, I think I have it right here, so hold on. Let me see if I can grab it. I'm not going to tell you how I did it. You got to go to my blog. Ah! You got to go to my blog and see it. But look at the background. Isn't that cool? See that? I came up with that cool technique today. So go by my blog and see it on Thursday. Okay. I really, really like the way the text turned out there. Now I am going to go in with a few more stamps here. I got this one from, this is from Sin City Stamps, and this is on the one of the art journal stamp kits. And I am using Stays On to bring this in. And I'm going to kind of just do like a half a stamp around the edge there. Oh, actually, I can turn it over and use the other half. How funny is that? Because it's still inky. I didn't even have to re-ink. Oh, I like that. So I'm using this diamond stamp in a totally different way, where I'm only using half the image to go around the edge here. See that? Look how cool that looks. And I think I'm not going to go over that. I think I'm going to see if I can go in between. And it worked. I like ye. And you know, it's funny, everybody knows I love firemen. I swear I didn't start the fire. I would never do that anyways. That's crazy. I'm going to turn this towards me just so I can get this bottom. It'll be a little easier on me, that's all. And then I'll turn it back for you guys. So I'm using, again, the diamond edge to put this really cool edge along the bottom. I like this a lot. And I'm not even caring that I'm missing a little bit of the image. To me, that doesn't bother me at all. And actually, that stamp is a little distressed anyways. So I like that the part of it's not perfect. I like the way that looks. Okay. Okay, now what else should we put in here? Way too big. That could be interesting.
I think that's very interesting.
I know. Look, that's kind of cool. Okay, maybe I'll use that one. And then I got a stamp. Also, oh wait, I want to put some of this flower in there. Oh, more Stays On. Let me see what color I have here. I'm going to use orange. I'm going to use, I love this stamp from Sin City. You can tell because it's really dirty. It's a flower. I'm going to use some orange Stays On. Just to put a little more texture in the background. And again, I'm not even caring if I'm getting the whole image. It's just giving me a little more character or depth. Okay, cool. Okay, I think I'm going to use that as my stencil on the edge. Okay, now I could do this with a lot of different things. At this point, I could spray again with black and basically cover this whole thing and just get the outline of this. I could come in with black paint, which is my original idea. And again, I'm going to use not a baby wipe, a makeup sponge. Now, if you are thrifty, and I am thrifty, my gravesite will say that she never paid retail, I promise. You could clean these makeup sponges out. The stamp ones that I use with stamps, I don't actually clean out because they don't dry on them. I just use the same one over and over for the same thing. But acrylic paint, it dries on it and it basically ruins it. If you want to not ruin it, the way you could do that is this would need to go into water almost immediately. Now I am putting black paint on this, and I'm doing the dab on, dab off, so I don't have a lot of. Now, if you feel uncomfortable, you could, tape this face down. You wouldn't have to, hold it the way I'm going to do if this makes you nervous. But it doesn't make me nervous, so I'm not stressed. And once I have the basic shape on there, then I can pull away and then add more paint as I need. So at that point, I do have the basic done. I can pull this away, and now I have the face there. And I can still come in and add more paint. And I'm going to put the paint on really softly here as I blend out so that I don't really necessarily lose the background, but I still want it to, so as I'm going out, I'm putting less, and I'm actually not putting any paint on it at all. I'm using what's left on my sponge to kind of soften this edge up. So as it comes out, as you see there, it's kind of blending into the other page, I guess is the word I'm trying to come up with. I am adding a little more paint because I had run out on the sponge because it's really warm here today. So there we are on that. That looks kind of cool. I think I'm going to come in and put the eyeball in though. So I'm going to bring it to me just because I can't draw upside down. I can barely draw straight. And I am going to use my, this is the Sproul Aquabul pencil. I will put the link on it, but I get it at Dick's Blicks. And the eye, when you have a silhouette, and you could cheat, you could look right off of here and do it, but let me put a piece of paper up here. Eyes actually from the side are pretty easy to do, and again, I can't really draw backwards, okay, so it's basically a V. You start off with a V to make an eye from the side, like that. Let me make that really, let me use a marker. Now normally I would not use a marker, I would use pencil to do this. Okay, so it's basically you start off with a V, and then you put the eyeball in. It comes to the side. See the circle? And an eyeball is a circle. So you're putting the eyeball in. See that? And then you're going to have a little bit of, this is where your eyelash will come up. So you're going to come up and you're just going to start doing eyelashes. See that? Again, this is upside down, so let me go towards you. And I wouldn't have had that V coming out that far. I would actually erase that. See where we're going with the eye? So I got the eyelashes going there. And then it's you have the pupil, and the pupil is going to be towards the front because he's looking this way, the person. So you're going to put your pupil in. It's towards the front like that. See that? See where I'm going? And then there's a tiny bit of a little bit of a line up here that's going to be kind of your the crease in your eye. And then if you want to, you would also go in and put in, this is so hard upside down for me, put in your eyebrow. Okay, and that's the basics of an eye. See that? So that's real basic. Start off with a V, then put a circle in, then it's kind of a half a circle for the eyeball, a little bit of a line up here, put your eyelashes in, and then a big, your eyebrow. So that's how you do a side eye. Okay, I'm going to come back up here and put that side eye in now. So, and I always use pencil because, you know, you can erase it if you make a mistake, and, you know, you can come in and just kind of fix your mistakes. And then I will come back with my black pen, which is buried on my desk, I'm sure. This is my favorite black pen that works for all kinds of mediums. This is the Scarlet Lime, and you can get it at scarletlime.com. So I'm basically just getting my eyeball in here. And I will come in and I will actually grab some, actually Titan Buff. I don't want Titan Buff, I want white. White, white, white.
Terri, I think folks are finding some problems in the new Google Hangout, that the question being answered doesn't go away, that some of the comments just seem to stay towards the top. I think the ones near the top are the ones people have +1, and it's up to +2, so I have a feeling every time you vote for a comment, it may move back to the top. I'm not sure, but you know, this is Google. We're not going to change it. You folks aren't doing anything wrong. It is what it is.
Yeah. I wish we could probably go back to the old comment over on the side there, but I don't know how to do that.
I was looking while you were teaching as best I could, Terri, and it seems like this is the direction they're headed, and they really are, so folks understand, they're really trying to make it that you're watching someone teach something and you're asking them questions, not so much chatting with each other, which I know we like to do. We like to say, hi, I'm here, I'm back, I'm in, I'm out, hello, goodbye. That really just adds to that whole stream and makes it harder to answer the questions. Maybe someday they'll add a chat, but right now they're really saying it's meant to be Q&A for the speaker.
And we will, you know, because obviously I want everything to go good too, so I will make a comment to them that maybe they should try to figure out something different to do also. So my eyeball's coming along. I got to put some, once that dries a little more, I'm going to put some blue in there. I need to cut that off because it's driving me crazy up there. My scissors. Scissors. There they are.
I wondered about that little piece up there. I was thinking, what's she doing?
It's been driving, I just haven't cut it off, and it's been driving me nuts. It's like, cut that piece off. Because you know how I went over the page, so it was really long. And you know, at this point, it's up to you. You could go in and, you know, bring the lips in a little more and put some color in there, or not. Just leave it as is. I kind of like it the way it is. I did bring this bird out. I don't know if I want to use him or not. I don't think I will. I think maybe on another page. One of those big foam stamps. I'm getting pretty much, I'm liking this. Where are we at? Oh, wow.
You know, Terri, some reason that the girl's face you drew, maybe it's the blue, it just reminds me of Avatar.
Oh, Avatar. Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
I don't know why, but I look at it and think, oh, that's that movie.
You know, it's funny. I just watched that movie like 3 days ago. Okay. I think I want to put in my quote. My stamp. Where did I just put that? I have this really cool stamp from oh, there it is. From Versus Rubber Stamps. They only do verses. That's all they do over there. And I like this one. Oh, damn, I keep forgetting I can't do that. She doesn't do cling mounts, so I can't peel off the backs because it's sticky. Okay, it says, oh, I can't read it upside down. I'll stamp it and then we'll do it. I'm going to see if it's going to stamp in white right here. I'm not sure. Actually, let me, before I do that, Let me cover myself. Let me do this. Let me take some more black. I'm going to put some more black paint right here, because that's where I'm going to put my quote. So I'm just doing, I just have some of the makeup sponge, and I'm just grabbing some of extra paint that I have here. And I'm just going to go over to the edge of that blue. Okay, gotta let that dry just a second. Shouldn't take long. Because it's like a billion degrees here today. Okay, where did I put the stamp? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to try to stamp that right there in white, and then I'll read it to you. I have Palette New Canvas as a color, and it's actually their white. And this is a Stuart Superior ink pad, and it works pretty good for me. And then usually if I don't get it perfect, then I will go over it with a white pen and get it a little better. Let's see. Okay. It says something about not wearing your art, or okay. It says, one should either wear a work of art or be a work of art. See, I like that. And again, that's from versusrubberstamps.com. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with my page. I think I might stop right there. Let me look at it towards me, see if there's anything I want to do. Well, I think I am going to come around and just darken up around the edge of this person. And again, I'm going to use the Pitt pen, and I can rub it out. So it'll just make it a little darker right around the edge. Just to give it, it's going to give it a little more depth. And I probably will go in later and clean up those letters with a white pen. Now, I did activate the Q&A this time. Next time what we will do is test something. We will take the Q&A out, and we'll go back to using the Google site that we were using and see if that makes a difference. So that's what we'll do next week. So we'll test something out again. Because
I don't know, Terry. When I click on it on the Google site, it pops up in a new window. You still don't get the scrolling comments like you did last time.
I know, but I actually activated the Q&A. So maybe because I activated, and I've never done that in the past. So I'm wondering if that made the difference. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, and somebody posted if you click the pop-out window, you get a separate window. You do get a separate window, but it still is the big video with the Q&A on the right, yeah, as far as I can see.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with this.
Dana would like to know, why do you like palette ink pads?
You know, actually, I used to work for Stuart Superior, and they're just a really good brand. I've always been a fan. I love their Indian ink. Honestly, this is probably my absolute favorite ink pad in the world. It's on my desk more than anything else. Indian ink is a really rich, dark black, so that's the advantage of it. The other advantage to it is Indian ink, like the Pitt pens, which are also Indian ink. Indian ink, once it's dry, is completely permanent. It does not bleed. So that's the reason. You know. And hi, Debbie. It's also Debbie's birthday. She says, I'm here, I just don't chat. So palette line, and also the memory lines. I'm just a big fan of Stuart Superior's ink pads. So that's just me. You can use whatever you have at home. Don't run out and buy something just because that's the only thing I'm using. Use whatever you have at home. Like I said last week. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Susie wanted to know what can you do with black gesso. I said it's the same as starting with white gesso and painting it black when you want to start with a black surface. It just saves you that two-step process.
Yes, actually, I had just recently had a request, and I was been thinking about this anyways, to do another page using the high flow acrylic paints. And actually, I was thinking that it'd be really a lot of fun to use them on top of black gesso. So maybe that's what we're doing next week, guys. We're going to play with black gesso, and we're going to use the high flow acrylic paints. Let me show you what those look like. If you have not seen these are fairly new. They're fairly new out from Golden. They're called high flows. Golden high flow. Right there, see it says high flow acrylic paints. These are a lot of fun. These are amazing to work with. So I will be using them next week. As far as a substitute for high flows, there really isn't a whole lot of substitutes. You could water down acrylic, fluid acrylic, really water it down, but the disadvantage about watering down paints is you lose the binding agent. So I probably wouldn't water it down with water. I might water it down with something like this. This is a polymer medium, which is basically what this is what they call naked paint, which means it's what this is without pigment. So they take this, they add blue to it, and they get me this. See so that's how it works, basically. So that, basically how that works as far as you go. So if you don't have the high flows and you do have some fluid acrylics, you could add polymer medium to it and make them more watery to replace this consistency that you could get from high flows. But seriously, if you want to play with something that's absolutely fun, the high flows are a lot of fun. So anyways, let me switch cameras and give out tonight's prize also. Sorry about that. I didn't even think about it till now. Let me change cameras. Oh, let me change cameras. Okay, there I am. Real quickly, join my group on Facebook called All Things Terri Sproul. If you're watching me on YouTube, give me a thumbs up, please. Helps my ratings. Join my group on Facebook called All Things Terri Sproul, and if you put your pages on that group page that are inspired by mine, they could be scrapbook pages, they could be anything you want to do. It could be a canvas. Just be inspired by mine. You get entered to win a prize. Tonight it's Tamiko McCurry. Tamiko McCurry. So please get a hold of me and I will send you a prize. I never know what I'm sending you. I have a bunch of bags back here with stuff in them, and I just pull something out and shove it in a bag or an envelope and send it off to you.
I think that's my stuff you took from CHA.
Well, of course it was. I'm not stupid. So anyways, thank you again for joining me. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Appreciate everything. Love you all. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye. See you next Tuesday.